In this video, we will discuss about the humerus of ox. Later videos, we will compare the humerus of ox with the other species. Here, we will try to understand the content by using the images so that we can clearly appreciate the content as such, and thereby will able to retain the things and will able to reproduce in the examination whenever it is required. Now let us come to the topic. Humerus is the long bone which is present in the body where the region is called as arm region. In arm region, a bone is present. That bone is a long type bone that is known as humerus. Now let us come to the direction of the bone is. The direction is downward and backward. Here you can clearly observe the direction of the humerus bone, which is downward and backward. And the humerus makes majorly two joints. Above it will join with the glenoid cavity to form shoulder joint, and below it join with the radius and ulna to form elbow joint. Let us come to the structure of the humerus. The humerus has a shaft, that is body, and two extremities or two ends, anterior end and posterior end. This is anterior end or extremity, and this is posterior end or extremity. The in between, that is body or shaft. First we will discuss about the shaft, later we will discuss about extremities. The shaft contains two surfaces. Those are anterior surface, posterior surface, medial surface and lateral surface. Let us look at anterior surface. Anterior surface is also known as cranial surface, and the view is known as cranial view. Please try to focus on the image on which we are discussing. The anterior surface is triangular, which is smooth above and it becomes narrow below and becomes rough. This is all about anterior surface. The things we have to remember is that as such, which is we are able to see the image, the anterior surface is triangular, which is smooth above, which becomes narrow and rough below. Now let us come to the posterior surface or caudal view. The posterior surface bends with the medial and lateral face. This is bending with the lateral and medial surface, and this can be appreciated by the presence of a nutrient foramen. Posterior surface is characterized by the presence of a nutrient foramen, and this surface is bends with the medial and lateral surface. Now let us come to medial surface. This is the medial surface, which is almost or nearly straight in length. Just above the medial surface, a tubercle is present, which is known as teres tubercle. That is just above the middle of the medial surface, a small bony tubercle is there, that is known as teres tubercle or teres major tubercle, which help in the attachment of the two muscles, namely latissimus dorsi and teres major. This is all about medial surface. Let us come to lateral surface. The lateral surface is characterized by presence of musculospiral groove, that is commonly known as MSG, musculospiral groove. This is the musculospiral groove in which brachialis muscle is present. And one more thing is that lateral surface is separated by anterior surface by a border, that is the crest of humerus. This is the crest of humerus, which separates the anterior surface by a lateral surface. This is lateral surface, which is characterized by the musculospiral groove in which brachialis muscle will present, and this lateral surface is separated by a anterior surface by a groove or crest, that is known as crest of humerus. Above its middle of the crest of humerus, a small bony tuberosity is present that is known as deltoid tuberosity. Here you can clearly observe the deltoid tuberosity. This is present just above the middle of the crust of humerus. This is the crust of humerus which try to separate lateral surface by anterior surface. Above the middle of the crust of the humerus, a small bony tuberosity is present that is known as deltoid tuberosity. Here you can also appreciate the deltoid tuberosity. This is the crust of humerus which will separate the anterior surface by a lateral surface. Now we will discuss about the ends of the humerus. Those are proximal end and distal end. Before that, we already discussed about the anterior surface, which is triangular, and posterior surface, which bends with the both medial and lateral surface, which is characterized by the presence of nutrient foramen, and medial surface, which is nearly straight in length and which is characterized by the teres tubercle, which help in the attachment of the latissimus dorsi and teres major muscle. And the last one, that is lateral surface, which is characterized by the musculospiral groove, in which the brachialis muscle will attach. And the lateral surface is separated by the anterior by a border, that is crust of humerus. Just middle of the crust of humerus, there is a bony tuberosity that is known as deltoid tuberosity. After finishing that, now it's time to discuss about the ends. First we will discuss proximal end. Now we will discuss about the proximal end of the humerus. Proximal end of the humerus contain four structures. Those are head, neck, tuberosity, and the groove, that is bicipital groove or intertuberal groove. Head is the articular surface which attach with the glenoid cavity of the scapula to form shoulder joint. Below the head there is neck. And now comes to the tuberosities. There are two tuberosities. One is the larger lateral tuberosity and the smaller medial tuberosity. Between these two tuberosities there is a groove that is known as intertuberal groove or bicipital groove. Now again in lateral tuberosity, which is divided as anterior summit, posterior convexity. Anterior summit is comparatively long and which hangs over the bicipital groove, and behind the anterior summit a bony structure that is known as posterior convexity. Posterior convexity helps in the attachment of the medial tendon of infraspinatus muscle, while anterior summit helps in the attachment of the lateral tendon of infraspinatus muscle. I hope things are clear. And let us come to medial tuberosity. Again the medial tuberosity is divided into anterior part and posterior part. This is all about the proximal end. Now we will discuss about the distal end of the humerus. The distal end or distal extremity of the humerus is oblique surface which is divided into two condyles by a ridge. Into two condyles as medial condyle and lateral condyle. Medial condyle is larger, which is also known as trochlea, and lateral condyle is smaller as compared to medial condyle, and which is also known as capitulum. And anteriorly above this condyle there is a fossa. That fossa is known as coronoid fossa or radial fossa. Coronoid fossa, in which the coronoid process of radius muscle will attach to form elbow joint, and just behind and above these condyles there is two bony ridges. Those are called epicondyles. These are the epicondyles. This is medial larger epicondyle and this is lateral smaller epicondyle. Between these two condyles there is a fossa, that fossa known as olecranon fossa, in which the anconeus process of ulna will accumulate during the extreme extension of the arm. And This medial epicondyle helps in the attachment of flexor muscles, and this lateral epicondyle helps in the attachment of extensor muscles. This is all about the two extremities and the four surfaces of the humerus. In next video, we will study the comparative analysis of the remaining species with that of ox. Thank you.